get started. Jeff, thank you for joining me.
Frankie O.
I appreciate that. There's a funny story behind Frankie O.
Frankie O.
Maybe I'll tell you sometime, or you can comment, and I'll ask you. I'm Frankie Bellucci. Bellucci. I'm a realtor with Remax, and I'm going around the city interviewing business owners and people that are doing good for our community. Jeff and I have been friends for 30 years.
Yeah, 30 years.
30 years. That's one of my longest friendships. And Jeff is really a member of the community that is pretty substantial, and that was why I wanted to interview him. Tell me, so Jeff's a real estate, you're a real estate owner here in Columbus Park. We are in Columbus Park, tell us just briefly a little bit about Columbus Park.
Well, the locals call it the North End, generally known as Columbus Park, but it's the old, the first neighborhood in Kansas City, actually, the first residential neighborhood, and traditionally Italian, really as of turn of the century. A lot of Sicilian people moved in. So anyway, it's a historic neighborhood, and I'm happy to be a part of it. It's a really, really, really cool neighborhood.
You lived here before you started purchasing and owning property, is that right, here in the area?
Yeah, we bought this house because I was going to marry Terry. She had 3 teenagers. The last thing in life I wanted to do was live with 3 teenagers. So this is a duplex, and we bought it for peanuts, and we put the kids upstairs, and we lived down here. So that's really how it started, was out of necessity. But as we lived here, I fell in love with the neighbors, fell in love with the neighborhood, the church, the whole thing. So eventually started making a few investments here and there. Really glad I did.
Yeah. When did Garozzo's come in? What year was that? Has that been 30 years as well?
A little over 30 years. We've been here a little over 30 years. And when we first moved here, that might have been 32 years ago, 33. It was called Pranza, the restaurant. It was Lejean's before that.
I don't remember that at all.
Well, it was, and it wasn't Pranza for very long. Then Mike bought it. About the time we were moving in here. And
it's a long friendship.
And so he's had it as long as we've lived here, and been a real rock for the neighborhood, a real important anchor. I'd say next to the church, Holy Rosary, I'd say Garozzo is the anchor of the neighborhood.
Well, I love going there. I don't think you and I have ever eaten a meal.
That's hard to feature. We haven't.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. So you started buying property, and now you're a property owner in Columbus Park, and do you lease most of your property for like rental property?
Yeah, it's rental. The first one was really kind of it was commercial. Kind of a famous building in the neighborhood, referred to by all the Italian people as Cibe's, which was a meeting place, a little confectionery store run by Cibe Costello. And we bought it, and it's been several restaurants, but most famously Happy Gillis restaurant. So that was our first one. And then it worked out, and the bank loaned us some money for the next one, and then the one after that. So,
okay. Owning property is it's unique. It's a unique business.
It's the name of our company, Unique City Living LLC.
Well, I didn't know that either.
Well, there you go.
Well, there you go. All right. So how does what you do make a difference in Columbus Park?
Oh, well, these buildings were in real need of repair. The neighborhood really didn't start coming back to the 90s. And we bought most of our stuff in the 90s and early 2000s. It all needed to be fixed up, and we fixed them all up. Like Chibe's, for example, Happy Gillis.
Yeah.
We redid the signage and kind of made it look like an old corner store that had been there forever. So that was the first one, and then you rent them out, and then you get some nice people moving in. And so the next one we did was a fourplex, and just fix it up, rented it out. It just sort of feeds on itself, as more people move in, more people want to move in, and more people buy other houses and fix them up too. So the neighborhood really has
grown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that same Kansas City Star paper.
Oh.
This magazine. I have that somewhere from 2015. I remember that.
Yeah.
Used to work for the Star. You remember?
I do remember. Yeah, I bought a subscription.
I know you did.
And that matter of fact, I still have the umbrella.
Oh, I might still have an umbrella.
With the funny papers,
yeah.
That umbrella? Yeah, I still have it.
Just a funny story. I did, if you look back, you can see that I interviewed Todd Schulte at Baccarat Primo, and Todd was the one that opened Happy Gillis, and I think that was his first restaurant. So he's done pretty well from there. So good job getting him started on that.
Will Todd see this?
If he looks at my YouTube.
Hey, Todd.
Hey, Todd.
Old buddy.
Yeah, we've all been friends a long time. What do you do that brings us, other than like rehab and making the neighborhood nicer, what do you do that brings a smile to homeowners and renters and community members' faces here in Columbus Park?
Well, I'm trying to think about that. We're neighbors, for one thing. We live right in the middle of everybody, so
see everybody all the time.
Yeah, we're neighbors and family. I also garden and can, so everybody gets my pickles
and tomatoes.
And I tomato everybody every year. So, yeah, I think just being a neighbor and friend is probably the best answer. Other than we fix the houses up nice. If anything goes wrong, we're on it in a snap. I think just being a neighbor and friend.
Nice.
Kind of the best answer.
Any heartwarming moments that you remember that are specifically stand out for you that somebody's said or done that makes you extra grateful?
Oh, there's so many. I love the neighbors next door, the Badami sisters. They became our aunts. There was a woman right across the street, and her name will come to me in a minute. Very young woman, really pretty girl. I'd never met her before, but she lived right across the street. And one morning, her windows were open. It was summer, and we heard the most god-awful screams. And it was so incredible that other neighbors gathered around. Ambulance showed up. Turns out she was in labor. And none of us had ever met her before. She had just moved in.
And you didn't know.
We didn't know what was going on until, somebody told us she was in labor. So we all hung around, and I bet you there was 20 neighbors out there waiting to see how this all came out. And she gave birth right across the street, which we all acknowledged was exactly how babies were born in the beginning in this neighborhood, in the early days. So she gave birth, and they came out on a gurney. Beautiful girl. We'd never seen her before. She had her baby, and then she waved to us all from the gurney, and we all gave her a big applause.
Yay!
And then she became a great neighbor.
That's a good one, Jeff.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Oh, there's so many in this neighborhood, sure.
Well, I know from my own experience that the vibrancy that you create is special, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to meet with you. Any teasers or plans for things that you have coming for Columbus Park in your own business, or that you know that are coming, because my audience, anybody that watches this, is either moving to Kansas City or they're homeowners in Kansas City. Anything happening here that you want to tell us about?
Well,
know about?
It's already established, but we have a neighborhood garden's a big deal. Joe Marie Costello kind of heads that up. There's also
Costello.
G. With a G.
GU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Costello.
Because David Costello.
Different family.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Was the Costello, when you talked about Chibay, was that Costello?
No, that was Costello.
Costello.
That was same family as Joe Marie. Joe Marie's is Chibay's daughter.
Costello.
And Chibay was famous in the neighborhood.
Sounds.
Anyway, she's sort of the mayor of Columbus Park, but she also organizes the neighborhood garden, and that's a really cool event. And there's also a Third Friday art openings, which a lot of the local artists open their galleries and homes and display their art. So it's every third Friday.
Third Friday. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm learning stuff throughout this interview that I didn't know either.
And everybody knows about all the buildings that are being built.
Sure, there's one on the corner.
Yeah.
That's kind of been a sore spot, hasn't it?
Not to me.
Oh, no.
Not to me.
Improves value?
Well, yeah, I lost access to our parking lot from it, so you might have heard me complaining about that. Other than that, though, what they're doing is so great for the neighborhood.
And that's a Botwin project?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it sure is.
She's a friend.
And then Grant Baumgartner is a builder. Franklin Builders, I think, is the name of his company. Anyway, he's built a bunch of really nice and valuable infill, but he's getting ready to do a neighborhood down here around the skate park of really high-end homes, and I'm not really sure how many, but like 30 or 40.
Wow.
Or something like that. So this neighborhood is
getting ready to explode.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Yeah. It seems like it's already exploded, but I think it's getting ready.
Yeah, great. How can homeowners, community members in any area, not just Columbus Park, but throughout our city, how can we give back? How can we support the area? How can we jump in and make a difference?
Well, it's easy here because another big anchor in our neighborhood is Don Bosco, which is one of the greatest not-for-profits around. So the whole neighborhood does support that. And of course, the church itself has got all kinds of opportunities to give back. That, and in this neighborhood, there's been so many older people helping the old neighbors. Has been it's great thing that we've been able to
be kind.
Yeah, well, being nice to the old neighbors has really enriched our lives dramatically. So, they say, like say the Olive Garden commercial, if you're here, your family. Well, here on the North End, if you're here 15 years, your family, I'd say. But what that is true, you become family. And, and once they holler at you, and talk about old Italian people, once they holler at you and cuss you out, your family.
Yeah. Well, anymore, won't go there. Where do you go for a moment of Zen? Where do you get your peace and quiet? You go over to the park with the dog?
No, out here at our garden.
Yeah, in the garden.
In the back, yeah.
And do you caffeinate locally? Is there a coffee shop you like to hit?
Well, yeah, I love Cafe down on 5th Street. That next to Happy Gillis, which they make a good cup of coffee there too at Happy Gillis. I'd say that since Happy Gillis, well, Garozzo's, then Happy Gillis, and now Cafe is about the best thing that's happened to our neighborhood. Great cup of coffee.
I'm going to try that. I haven't tried it yet.
Right down on 5th Street, next to where La Sala's used to be.
Oh, yeah.
Wolfpack Barbecue.
We'll have Vietnamese for lunch today. Some of the best Vietnamese in town.
Yeah, we got 2 Vietnamese restaurants. Vochi has the greatest sausage and pasta.
And sauce.
And sauce.
Yeah, they got great sauce.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. And then, of course, Garozzo's, Happy Gillis, now Wolfpack Barbecue. A lot of great places.
And is Wolfpack on Gillis as well?
On 5th Street, next to Cafe, and it's where La Sala's used to be.
I see.
For many
down here, yeah, okay. And if there was a playlist for you, for Columbus Park, for the work you're doing, what are the top 3 songs that you'd pick for music for this area, for your life, for your work here?
You Got a Friend, Volare, and I have it a blank. Jingle Bells. Yeah. What's Christmas?
It's Christmas.
Yeah.
That was perfect. You've done the very best at the 3-song playlist. That's a hard one, so
Yeah.
you win the prize for the best right off the cuff. Good job. 3 great songs. Anything I didn't ask you that you want to share with a YouTube audience, with a planet that may watch this over time?
No. Other than, we're not the kind of people who sell property necessarily. We kind of buy, fix up, and keep. But if I ever thought about selling something, I'd call Baluch right here.
Hey, man. Thank you, Jeff. That means a lot.
Yeah. Oh, it's true.
Listen, this is another great conversation. Like, I call Jeff Godfather because we've been friends a long time. And I thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment. What do you like? What don't you like? How can I shape this? How can I bring you more information that you want to hear? I think that's it. If you know anybody that wants to buy or sell any real estate, let me know. Happy to help. Or if you need some help or want to come to Kansas City, we got places. Ciao.